Hello back and welcome to day number 101. And my name is Mary, and today's story is Saul is Disobedient. After the great victory over the Philistines, Saul led his men against all the enemies of Israel. He drove back the Moabites and the Ammonites. Then he fought the Edomites and the kings of Zobah until Israel was free of its oppressors. To the south of the land, in the desert, where the Israelites had lived for 40 years, were the wild and wandering Amalekites, who had killed many Israelites when they were helpless on their journey. To punish them for doing this, God told the Israelites to fight the Amalekites until they destroyed them. The time had now come for God's curse against the Amalekites to be fulfilled. And Samuel said to Saul, God says you should go down and make war against the Amalekites and destroy them utterly. So Saul called out the men of war and marched southward into the desert, where he made war on the Amalekites, took their city and destroyed it. But he did not do what God had commanded him. Instead, he brought Agag, the king of the Amalekites, and many of his people as prisoners, plus their large flocks of sheep and oxen. Then the Lord came to Samuel, saying, It would have been better never to have chosen Saul as king, for he does not obey my commands. All that night Samuel prayed to the Lord, and the next day he went to meet Saul. When Saul saw him, he said, I have done what the Lord commanded me to do. Samuel replied, If you have obeyed God's command and destroyed all the Amalekites and all they possessed, what is this bleating of sheep and bellowing of oxen I hear? They bought them from the Amalekites, answered Saul. The people spread the best of the the people spared the best of the sheep and oxen to offer in sacrifice to the Lord. All the rest we destroyed. Samuel said, God told you to go and utterly destroy the Amalekites and leave nothing of them. Why didn't you obey God's word? And Saul said, I have done as God commanded and have destroyed the Amalekites. But the people took some things that should have been destroyed to offer in sacrifice to the Lord. Samuel asked, Is the Lord as happy with offerings as he is with obeying his words? To obey is better than sacrifice, and to listen to God's word is more precious than to place offerings on his altar. To disobey God's word is as evil as to worship idols. You have refused to obey the voice of the Lord, and the Lord will take away your kingdom from you." Saul saw now what he had done, and he said, "I have sinned in not obeying God's word, but I was afraid of the people and yielded to them. Forgive my sin. Come with me, and I will worship the Lord." "No," said Samuel, "I will not go with you, for God will refuse you as king." And I will show you the picture of Saul pleading with Samuel right here. As Samuel turned away, Saul took hold of his garment, and it tore in his hand. And Samuel said, "God has torn the kingdom away from you, and he will give it to a man that is better than you are. God is not like a man saying one thing and doing another. What God has said shall surely come to pass." After this, Samuel never saw Saul again, but he mourned and wept for Saul, because he had disobeyed the Lord, and the Lord had rejected him as king. And that was the word of the Lord. Now we come to our discussion questions. Number 1, what did Saul and his army do next? What did Saul do next and his army? I'm going to repeat it one more time. What did Saul and his army do next? Number 2, what did God tell them to do to the Amalekites? What did God tell them to do to the Amalekites? Number 3, did Saul obey God? Did Saul obey God? Number 4, what did Saul tell Samuel? Was it true? Again, 2 parts to number 4. What did Saul tell Samuel? First part. Second part, was it true? Number 5, what did Samuel tell Saul about obedience? What did Samuel tell Saul about obedience? And the second part to number 5, had Saul learned the lesson God had tried to teach him? Had Saul learned the lesson God had tried to teach him? And we come to the end of our questions. Thank you again for attending with me and listening to the word of the Lord. May God bless us all. Till next time. Bye-bye.